all over towns across Tanzania, including in Arusha, Mwanza, mass graves in Dar es Salaam, Geita, Mbeya, mass graves in Songwe, Mara, Kitavi, and Moshi. As of November 7, 2025, at least 3,000 people have been murdered by Tanzanian security forces, with thousands of people still missing. Amidst the ongoing attempted cover-up facilitated by the continued internet blackout and bandwidth restrictions, this number could be in the thousands below the actual death toll. Many bore head and chest gunshot wounds, leaving no doubt these were targeted killings, not crowd control actions. Bodies taken to hospitals have subsequently been collected by security agents, removed from morgues, and quietly disposed of. Hospitals are being heavily guarded by Tanzanian and foreign security agents, preventing access, confiscating all funds from doctors, nurses, family members, and those in critical condition, as well as deleting any photos and videos. We have also been informed that doctors and nurses are being given orders to maliza those who were in critical care from gunshot wounds. We believe that at least 2,000 missing bodies reported by families are among those being buried in these mass graves. Suluhu's regime is also allegedly running an incinerator outside of Dar es Salaam in Pwani region, where many innocent souls' bodies are being incinerated in a further attempt to destroy evidence. A specialized paramilitary unit is working alongside the police to execute these war crimes and crimes against humanity and suppress documentation. Families seeking to identify or collect bodies of their loved ones have been harassed, intimidated, and even arrested. Hospitals have refused to disclose information. Hundreds of relatives are currently behind bars across police stations in Central Police Station, among others, across the region, simply for asking the whereabouts of their missing loved ones, and if dead, demanding the right to bury their kin. This has been a harrowing ordeal, compounded by state engineering grieving, where families have been denied the opportunity to bury their loved ones in a deliberate tactic to terrorize entire Tanzanian communities. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Let's continue. We have established credible indications that the illegal military-grade weapons being used to murder Tanzanians were imported by Abdullah May Suluhu's son. The points to criminal complicity at the highest levels of government, the wounds that we are seeing with 3 to 5 inch wounds across body parts, organs blown out, heads and faces blasted open, walls pierced with huge bullets, wounds that further penetrated people behind them, are a clear indication that these are no weapons that Tanzanian police are mandated to carry. As of today, Tanzania has taken the next step and has now begun charging all those in custody who are still alive with multiple counts of treason. The charge sheet of 17 Tanzanian states on diverse dates between May to 30th day of October 2025 at various places in Dodoma district, Dodoma region, within the United Republic of Tanzania, did conspire to commit an offense of wit, treason, and that they formed an intention to obstruct the 2025 general election for the purpose of intimidating the executed United Republic of Tanzania and manifested such intention by causing serious damage to government properties intended to provide necessary services, signed by the state attorney on November 6, 2025. Another identical charge sheet with sole change of location to various places in Dar es Salaam region and implying they conspired on diverse dates between April 1st and October 30th, has grouped 76 Tanzanian citizens on single charge sheet to face multiple counts of treason charges. The third set of 22 Tanzanians on diverse dates between 15th day of April 2025 and 29th day of October 2025 in various places within Ubungo district in Tanzania region, in Dar es Salaam region, did conspire to commit offense to wit, treason, as per the joint charge sheet, with the first accused also facing 3 counts of treason charges, with third, treason, contrary to section 39(2)(d) of the Penal Code Act, Cap 16, for encouraging the general public to purchase tear gas masks from her business center as to protect themselves from police tear gas during unlawful demonstration aiming to obstruct the state 2025 general election. Andrew Karamagi, a Ugandan lawyer, gives a clear depiction of regional tools of suppression recently utilized in Kenya when 75 youth were charged with terrorism and over 400 were facing other trumped-up charges, which have now rippled in Tanzania. Karamagi states that, unfortunately, the logic of such trials, based on the Museveni school of dictatorship, of which Samia is proving to be a fast learner, is that there is no real intention by the state to secure conviction. They are deliberately drafted and submitted in such a shabby fashion to disturb the accused persons and waste the court's time with legal gymnastics, adjournment after adjournment for years, then finally dismissed for lack of evidence, which they knew they never had in the first place.
So this one also comes as part of feminist and women and gender justice accountability, part of the leadership. The Africa Union has now confirmed that Tanzanian and democracy defenders around the world have been saying there was no legitimate election in Tanzania. In its findings, the African Union said that the process failed to meet democratic standards, citing ballot stuffing, an intentional state-imposed internet blackouts, excessive military force, politically motivated abduction, and systematic disruption of independent observation. This is clear evidence of dictatorship consolidating power through murder. As part of African feminists, defenders of women's rights, we stand in collective outrage and grief at these ongoing atrocities, killings, and political betrayals perpetuated under the leadership of Mama Samia Suluhu. What was once celebrated as a milestone for African women leadership has become a warning that a woman in power is not automatically a feminist or a liberator. Under Suluhu, dissent has been criminalized, women organizing has been surveilled, gender-conforming people, activists, youth, journalists, and marginalized community have been violently targeted.
We, the Jumuiya ni Yetu movement, we condemn the regime's dictatorship politics. Sorry, I'm going to start again. We condemn the regime's doctorship politics, where medical institutions and public health systems have been turned into instruments of control. Across the continent, we see a dangerous trend where women leaders are used to sanitize patriarchy giving cover to repression. We reject that. Feminist leadership must be accountable, intersectional, and rooted in justice, not militarism. Our struggle for equality cannot be hijacked to legitimatize authoritarian rule. Today we stand in solidarity with Tanzanian women, families, street children, activists, and all citizens resisting the criminalization of feminist power. Our struggle is not to occupy the seat of patriarchy, but to dismantle it. We demand a continent where women's leadership means safety, autonomy, and liberation, not mass graves and censorship. We extend our heartfelt condolences, strength, and prayers to all Tanzanians whose loved ones, friends, family members, colleagues, and fellow citizens have been brutally murdered. We shall always honor you, remember you, and stand with you in the pursuit of justice and accountability. Nyinyi ni mashujaa. We also commend the people of Tanzania, particularly the youth, for their vigilance in standing up for democracy and their resolute commitment in the face of incredible violence. And we reiterate our solidarity with them as all generations of Tanzanians who are working closely together, crying and mourning this tragic loss, yet also organizing. They strive for a fresh start from the current crisis towards a better future for everyone, especially their young people.
Tanzania is experiencing a humanitarian catastrophe, and although the dictators of the region are collaborating to spill more blood, the citizens of the region will not enable another blood-soaked crisis. Therefore, we demand: 1. President Samia Suluhu must step down immediately. She lacks legitimacy, has lost the moral mandate to govern, and now presides over mass atrocities. She must resign and must be immediately prosecuted to the full extent of the law for her crimes against humanity. 2. Respect the urgent demand from Tanzanians for an immediate transition to an interim government to oversee the long-delayed political reforms and prepare for credible elections in the future under independent oversight. 3. The Tanzanian authorities immediately stop witch hunting civilians and members of civil society to prevent any further loss of life as required by national and international laws, as well as the shared values enshrined in the African Union standards and norms. 4. The Tanzanian Communication Regulatory Authority should be held immediately accountable for its role in blocking internet access and network bandwidth in the country, thereby denying necessary communication to facilitate urgent human assistance for the many victims of the ongoing violence, and take immediate action to restore full capacity.
As we continue with the demands, and we need to clarify that the demands are Jumuiya ni yetu, but the entire statement is Pan-African Solidarity Movement. When you get it, you'll realize that it is from very many organizations from the African continent. So as we continue with the statement, we are demanding that the Tanzanian authorities should accept an independent international fact-finding mission to ascertain the extent of the reported grave human rights and civil rights violations, thereby avoiding unnecessary confusion over what has transpired. 6. The African Union to immediately convene an emergency peace and security council meeting, inviting representatives from civil society, the media, and other stakeholders, and invoke its mandate under Article 4 of its Constitutive Act. 7. The South African Development Community SADC, and particularly President Peter Mutharika, should immediately intervene, utilizing his mandate as chair of the organ on security, defense, and cooperation, to urge the Tanzanian government to desist from further human rights violations, particularly the ongoing crimes against humanity. Furthermore, to deploy the SADC Electoral Advisory Council to immediately investigate the violence and propose the appropriate action to deal with this. 8. Regional governments, particularly the Republic of South Africa, in the absence of Madagascar and as the incoming chair of SADC, should immediately collaborate with the organ chair to convene an emergency meeting of the Troika to address the crisis in Tanzania, especially in light of the ongoing crisis in Mozambique, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Madagascar. 9. National and regional civil society organizations must remain vigilant throughout the ongoing crisis and participate proactively in addressing impunity through documentation and advocacy, thereby drawing national and global attention to the crisis. The above read statement is on behalf of the organizations, CSOs and human rights defenders forming the Jumuiya Ni Yetu movement, and the demands are on behalf of the Pan-African Solidarity Statement, consisting of more than 40 CSOs from Senegal, Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Burundi, Mozambique, as well as movements and organizations whose work spans across the continent of Africa. And maybe just before we can get like a summary in Kiswahili and maybe some additions as well, I think it is important, particularly as a lawyer, to say that this idea of charging, people for treason, even somebody who is selling masks so that people can, be saved from tear gas. This idea itself, flippant as it is in terms of legality, but it is also sending a message to all those Tanzanians who are not in Tanzania, who are helping in the Tanzanian struggle. They're being told that you're also guilty of treason, and when we get you, you will be charged with treason, and even we may charge you in absentia. So it is to send a chilling effect and try to stop those who are still calling for democracy, fair elections, constitution, and so on, thinking that they will stop. And for all these organizations that are behind this statement, we had thought that normally, if the AU itself, which is very uncharacteristic, for AU to say that an election is not transparent, it's not fair, that message alone should convince a president that it is time to retreat and listen to the peers. But instead of the Tanzanian government retreating, the current government retreating, they are escalating the war against their citizens. And therefore, even the idea that a time comes when you need to be able to negotiate and to see how to go forward. So it is clear that they believe they are going to prevail over their citizens. And we have said time and again, as observers, as people who are also, whose business is also East African business, we have said that if elections, when they are challenged, you cannot go to any court because we have tried to do research about places in the world where there is no remedy of challenging illegal elections or elections that have been stolen. So because that is not present in Tanzania, then it means that the only legitimate court is the court of public opinion. And this is what, the Tanzanian authorities do not want to accept. It has also been identified that even from the statement that the electoral process, even by Tanzanian standards and by Tanzanian law, was incomplete. Because if they were in a hurry to announce the results, and therefore they were not processed through the polling station, through the constituencies, as demanded by Tanzanian law, then it actually means that they were not interested, even in terms of having seemingly free and fair elections, and therefore you can see that they were not even, they were such in a hurry, knowing that they really didn't win, to be able to do crazy things, even according to their own law. From the statement, you have heard that people were disappeared, of course, from a long time ago, and even during this election period. But in a very bizarre situation, they even disappear dead bodies. So they disappear live people, and then they proceed also to disappear dead bodies, because they think that they are going to hide, the evidence of what they have done. And to conclude, what is happening in sub-Saharan Africa? Actually, one can say now in sub-Saharan Africa, there is a sub-Saharan heat wave, which is comparable to the Arab Spring. And when you look at what has happened in Kenya previously, in Tanzania, in Mozambique, in Madagascar, etc., etc., the youth are saying that they are not going to accept dictatorship, they are not going to accept economies which don't give them a chance. And so the important thing is for these governments to really face the real problem, and not to think that the solution is, killing the young people. There are too many, you can't kill all of them, because they are 70% of most of our populations. So somebody now will summarize in Kiswahili, then we will receive questions. And before questions, can we, where is the